A Fox News alert with an urgent update from John Roberts out of the White House. A senior administration official telling him that President Trump is expected to announce as early as tomorrow that he intends to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program as it exists today. It's called DACA, also called Dreamers, perhaps. The idea that people who came in as kids may be able to stay with their work permits. This would be an enormous political bombshell. It has huge implications in terms of what the president wants to do in Congress. Much more on that.
The future of DACA is up in the air tonight. President Trump facing a deadline of next Tuesday to decide its fate. So what exactly is DACA? It stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It lets kids who are brought into the U.S. illegally as minors stay here without fear of deportation. It's been controversial from the start. 5 years ago, President Obama created the program through executive action without congressional approval. Now, DACA supporters are planning around-the-clock protests at ICE headquarters in Phoenix. ABC 15's Sonu Wasu joining us live with this part of our coverage.
The words I keep hearing over and over again from some of the young adults in this group are fear, uncertainty, but also hope. Now, the banner behind me says 800,000 families strong. That is how many families will be impacted by this decision in the U.S. 28,000 of them right here in Arizona. It is the sound of resistance, frustration, and for some, desperation. Right now, everything is on the line for these DACA recipients, their families, their jobs, their whole life.
I came to the United States when I was 13 with my family escaping political violence that was going on in Mexico.
Brought here by their parents, immigrants like Reina Montoya, who finally came out of the shadows, ready to share their story with the community, no longer afraid, feeling protected by a government who promised safety and sanctuary, gave them work permits, driver's licenses, and a voice, documenting the undocumented.
Having DACA actually empowered me to come out, to say, no, you know what, like, we are people, we are humans, and we are here contributing to this country.
Now it could all be taken away again. For so many of them, brought here as little children, the U.S. is the only country they know.
Here is basically my home, where I've been here all my life, where I want to be here, I want to stay here, I want to work here, I see my future here.
Community groups are calling this their week of action. They'll be taking shifts, camping out right here on the doorstep of the Department of Homeland Security downtown. This is all week long. They're rallying for your support. And we can tell you that Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton has already declared that he is a supporter standing right next to these DACA recipients. Reporting live downtown, Sonu Wasu, ABC 15, Arizona.
Can you confirm reports that the president has leaning towards or deciding to end DACA, and what are the ramifications of that for the Dreamers?
In terms of DACA, echoing again on what Tom said earlier, final decision on that front has not been made, and when it is, we will certainly inform everybody in this room. Cecilia.
Thanks. In January, the president said that Dreamers shouldn't be worried. So can you stand here today and say Dreamers should not be worried?
Once again, when we have a final decision, this is under review. There are a lot of components that need to be looked at, and once a decision is made, we will certainly let you guys know. Glenn.
Sarah, there's a specific report out by Fox that talks about, that says essentially a decision is made to roll back the program by the end of this week, and that there will be provisions allowing Dreamers who are in the country right now to stay until their work authorization expires. Are you specifically denying that report?
No offense to your colleague from Fox News, but I think I'm a little bit better informed than they are in terms of when the White House has made a decision. And as I just said a moment ago, it has not been finalized, and when it is, we will certainly let you know. Hallie.
Two questions just on Glenn. Can you at least talk about the timeline here? You've got these states that have said September 5th is when they will begin to continue this court action. That's obviously the Tuesday after Labor Day. So does that mean that some decision will be coming down tomorrow before the holiday weekend? Can you at least talk about the timeline for this, for those folks who are wondering what their status is going to be here?
Again, I'm not going to get ahead of something and be presumptuous when a decision hasn't been made. We don't know when the final review is going to be completed, so it would be disingenuous for me to create a false timeline that simply just isn't workable.
Is not, you guys aren't even
there are a lot of conversations around the timeline and when that has to be made, and again, that hasn't been fully reviewed and vetted and decided.